Hi everybody, day 31, Monday 7th of June 2020. Hope you had a nice weekend, a nice service at church. We had a beautiful service. We have a WhatsApp group at church now, and it was absolutely beautiful yesterday morning. So I trust you had a nice time, however you brought your worship to God on yesterday. We're carrying on, just to say that alongside what's going on in the church, of course, my work life is carrying on as it carries on, and my personal life is still seeking more of the Holy Spirit. So more of that later. But we'll, I want to concentrate on the church at this moment, saying it's really important what's happening now. That this, with me believing that it's got to be a strong local church to secure the salvation and hereditary of my spiritual heritage. But the man who was the other who I handed over to and left in charge, like I say, he was an honourable man and a lovely man, and I get on so well with him subsequent to these events. But he couldn't let the strict Baptist thing go. And at that time, we needed some more elders and more church members, trustees. And he wanted some people to be trustees, but he wanted them to be strict Baptists. I'm a trustee, but I'm not a strict Baptist. You see, you just sign on the dotted line, don't you? Who's watching? But he wanted, and nobody could join him in that. And so I guess it was probably, and then the not tensions, but just it wasn't a pleasant place to be, and so people would take time out and not come, not be regular anymore. Not exactly leaving, but not being there, and it got to a place where I lost all hope. In all honesty, it was Christmas time, and I had an experience of walking through one of the church doors and just feeling all hope is gone. I can't. God has put me here. I can't leave. But this is so bad. And all hope is gone. And then from that place, this other elder, just from himself, nothing coming from me, it was inside myself, nothing coming from him. The next Sunday, he'd come, and I wasn't there that day, and he'd said he'd resigned and left. And as I say, my relationship with him was good. He was an honourable. He was a strict Baptist. You see, he believed it. Well, that's fine. That's actually, if you believe those things, that's fine. But don't let it be the thing that you can't, our theology can't bind us together. It's our love for Jesus that binds us together. So he left. And very quickly, from being no hope, the church convened for their normal January annual meeting and appointed me as elder. But they were elder in terms of me having seen the mess that we could get in. I want to be an elder in terms of the scriptural. So we're not going to have votes at church meetings. We're not going to have a closed communion. And we're going to allow the Holy Spirit a little bit of room here as well. And the church let me in on that basis. They voted me in unanimously, the group of people that came that day. And in all honesty, church meetings since that day have been delightful. There's been no since 1990. There's been no crosswords in our church meetings since those days. It's another story. This is the story behind that for another day. But I'll leave it, at that. My father would have been the person most holding back from these things. But then we said we'd reconfigure the church because I wanted the church to be in a circle so that more people could join in. So it's a body ministry. It's not a priesthood. It's not an Old Testament priesthood. It's a body ministry. Every member, the Lord can speak to us all, you see. Anybody can speak. So since then, there's been an open pulpit in the church. And at times I've demanded, and I'm not bringing a sermon next week. Somebody else has to do it, because we are just so. Anyway, that's another story for another day, of course, isn't it? But God brought peace, and whilst we have not grown, and whilst there have also been troubles here and troubles there, and as there are, There is a core, and nearly everybody's part of the core now. Well, maybe 30 odd of us, 40 on a Sunday morning that gather together and love one another, care for one another. It's beautiful what's happening now through COVID with our care of one another coming in here, there, and everywhere. It's absolutely beautiful. And just I'll just say this at this point, that somewhere in the middle of all that, God had spoken to me earlier in the early 80s. So we've ended up in the 1990 now. But in the early 80s, God had said, quite clearly that I've just got one church in Oldham. I've just got one church in Oldham. That's what he said. But you look at the church in Oldham and it's 200 or 300 churches. All, certainly 10 or 15 denominational styles, all with their own little covenants, And he said, I just got one church in Oldham. And so since then, I've never referred to any of the other churches by their denominational title. In Royton, there's St. Mark's, and St. Anne's, St. Aidan's, and St. Paul's. There's Trinity. There's the Moravians. Can't get away from that. That's just the Moravians. There's Bethesda, there's Prayer Lane, there's Gravelhall, there's St. James. So that I'm looking towards the day when we will be one. That's how God gave me the pastorate at Bethesda, for which I have now been pastor 30 years. We're still here. We're not closed down. Amen. Thanks. More tomorrow. See you now. Bye.